Hello everyone and good morning. Welcome back to another stream. It is Game Week 34 deadline stream. It is free hit week for myself and free hit week for a lot of you as well. Thank you all very much for joining. We will do all of the questions that you are needing from me during this stream. We'll have a look at my team. We'll have a look at players to pick. We'll also discuss a few players to buy if you're not on free hit. We do have, and you see in the top right hand corner, almost as if I planned it, to buy if you're not on free hit this week. A little bit of a ranking for you there. So take a look at that if you want to, but I know the majority of you are on free hit this week. Before we dive in and do the usual stuff in the stream, please do say hello in the chat. We will do our usual rounds of good mornings before we get into the stream. So let me just post a poll in the chat as well, saying, are you on free hit this week? Yes, no. Start poll. Hello to Joseph, hello to FPL Lucho, hello to Amy, hello to Immortal, hello and good morning to Varon, hello and good morning to all the members, Fiona and moderators in. Thank you all very much for your support on the channel, and to everyone else, a big good morning. Kevin, Owen, Central, Sai, Isaac, Vincent, Chris, ZB, Goric, Roy, Binfea, Philip, Mateus, Toda, Tariq, FPL, Vazles, Lucho, Dan, Ranvir, FPL Chicken, Isaac, Anup, Darren, Ivy, Paul, Craig, another Craig, JD, Scott, Ashish, Alex, Dan, Ben, Mambo, NL Hero, FPL Affairs, Blob, Calvin, Luke, Nuri, Victor, Schnaps, Alex. You just replied to this. I did, correct. Martin, Farbor, Jeff, Patron, and Paul. Good morning to you all, and good morning to everyone else as well. Apologies, I was a minute late. I was making my cup of tea. I've got my cup of tea. It is here. I have oat milk for those of you who are asking in the chat what type of milk I have. It needs recharging, apparently. There we go. There we go. So my draft at the moment is up on screen now. I'm not saying I'm definitely not saying I'm locked in. I think it's pretty close to where I'll be. I would say I'd be surprised if my front seven probably changes now. I would say it's 8 Nori's probably not going to change now. Yeah. I'm not fully comfortable with Luis Diaz. I'm not fully comfortable with Raul Jimenez. But I don't particularly find other options that I prefer. And I did have players from that Thursday night game. And part of me does want one of them in my team. But if I'm just picking them because they play in that game and the timing of that game, do I really need them in my team? Like, I did tweet this and I said, if Chelsea's fixture versus the Forest fixture swapped around, would it change what your free hit draft looked like? So if Chelsea was set like 8 o'clock on Thursday and Forest Brentford were 12:30, I wouldn't be considering anyone from Forest Brentford. And I know some people will say, Harry, you don't need that. Like, that's not true. Like, kickoff times doesn't impact you. And that's absolutely fine. But actually, for a lot of us, it might subconsciously have a slight impact on decisions which are really close, because you want to have players playing later on in the week. So I took Brian Mbeumo out and I put Luis Diaz in. I don't think I'll reverse it. I'm pretty sure Brian Mbeumo will be my 8th attacker going into this week. Raul Jimenez could go. Chris Wood is the one that I look at again. It's just the fact they play Sunday and then Thursday and then Monday just makes me a little bit cautious of how much that they're planning to exert themselves in that game on Thursday. It's at home. Maybe things are a little bit, quieter, a little bit less full on than maybe they would do if they just played once a week. Defensively, Aït-Nouri, I'm almost guaranteed that I'll own. People saying my Chelsea bias is showing. Mate, I don't think so. And I've seen that a few comments of that throughout the week as well. I think Palmer's a good pick. I understand why you wouldn't want him. I also think Cucurella is a good pick. I'd understand why you don't want him as well. But having both of them is not something I feel particularly comfortable with. But yeah, I struggle with the alternatives a little bit on them, particularly on Cucurella. Now, I could go to Trippier and then go a different goalkeeper, but then I've got to find another goalkeeper that I like. And I don't particularly feel strongly on any of those defensive that I want to double up. So at the moment, Cucurella is in, it's Aït-Nouri, and then it's Sessegnon. I had I had Kieran Trippier and Leno in my draft, and I swapped it to Pope and Sessegnon, and I don't know how I feel about that. It feels like Trippier, Leno is the safer route. I just know that if Sessegnon starts, if Sessegnon starts and plays 60, he's the best defender in the game this week, I would say. I think it's that. So yeah, we've gone with Sessegnon at the moment. I'm very not confident that that's going to stay. I'd say Sessegnon is the least likely player in my lineup to stay. Do we think Forest will have a hangover after the semi-final regardless of the outcome, making Mbeumo a good choice? Maybe, but like Forest are pretty good at home. They don't give up a load of chances at home. So like as much as I think Mbeumo could get something, I don't think the ceiling from Mbeumo is more than maybe, like I don't think the ceiling is that high. Whereas I do think the ceiling on someone like a Luis Diaz, potentially to get a couple of returns against that Spurs team, feels higher than potentially it is for Mbeumo. How about Kepa and a Newcastle defender? I spoke about this on, I think, my final decision or my complete guide video. I don't mind the Kepa and the Bournemouth picks, but I do think Man United will put out a reasonably strong lineup. So I'm not that convinced that I need Bournemouth in my team. And I think Bournemouth, Man United, Brighton, West Ham are two games which I'm happy to have no investment in. Last week of assistant manager, Amorim or Frank. I'd probably go Thomas Frank if it was me, or just play it safe. Depends how aggressive you want to be. Play it safe on Wolves, play it safe on Newcastle as well. You think Pope and Sarr are safer to get a clean sheet compared to Leno? Southampton look like they score even once lately, while Ipswich and Leicester are weaker attacks at the moment. I think I probably agree with the fixture being away as well. But then Sessegnon has the attacking threat, which is why I like it. The four defenders I like are Trippier, Aït-Nouri, Cucurella, and Sessegnon. I would say Sessegnon, Aït-Nouri, Cucurella have the higher goal threat, but Trippier has probably the team that is likely to score the most goals and has the highest assist threat, and is playing against a team that don't have a left back at the moment. So yeah, that's where we're at, and that's why it's Pope, because I just think Trippier's attacking output is slightly less than the others. Palmer is not a logical pick at all. I feel like we're going to have this a lot during this stream on Cole Palmer. I completely get if you don't think he's a logical pick. The form recently would definitely highlight that he's probably not a logical pick, but I don't particularly love the alternatives. Like, I realistically am not going to be picking Iwobi over Cole Palmer. I just can't bring myself to do that. So, if you don't like Palmer, yeah, that's absolutely fine. Don't go with him. There are other good mids. I just find it difficult to pick someone like an Iwobi. Cliver, maybe, but again, I don't love the fixture that much. So Palmer or Bruno, again, like Bruno, if we are backing probably Bournemouth to win that game, I don't think Palmer's a perfect pick. I really don't, and I completely get it. But I don't necessarily think a lot of the other mids are perfect picks either. Trent, I like. I expect Trent to start. I do think the risk of Trent not getting 60 minutes is high enough for me not to take the risk on him, though, when there's other really good defenders this week. And Spurs are probably the best attacking team going up against the defenders we want. Like, they put up good chances against Forest the other day. So, you love the fixture. You think Bournemouth win comfortably? I think that's probably the general prediction, is that Bournemouth will win that game. They tend to do pretty well at home against Man United as well. They have a pretty good record against them. So I don't mind that prediction at all. But, yeah. Yes, Southampton have been playing a little bit better. Yes, but so I looked at this, and so look, if I show you, I'm about to sneeze, 1 minute. Oh, so if you look at their expected goals conceded, like, they're the worst in the league, right? But if you highlight it to, let's say, the last six matches. Assistant manager Frank Amarin or someone else. I'd probably go Thomas Frank if it was me. So yeah, for expected goals conceded, Southampton are the worst in the league at it. Now, that is over the season, and the point is that they are a little bit better recently than they have been, and particularly since you sacked your manager, they've definitely been better than they were before. But yeah, Harvey Barnes versus Murphy. So I'm not going with Harvey Barnes because I think the risk of Anthony Gordon is high enough to not take the risk. I think Harvey Barnes probably starts, but I do think it's probably 60-65%. And then over the last 6 weeks, going back to this, Southampton are still the third worst. Like, as much as they are better, they're still really bad at it. Now, a lot of that comes from the Aston Villa game, but still, as much as they've definitely improved over the past 6, they're still really bad. They're not like a mid-table defence, a top half defence all of a sudden. They're just not as bad as they were when they were really, really bad. That's basically it with Southampton. Unlike Jimenez on penalties, like, if he scores, bonus is really good. So I do quite like the idea of going Chris Wood. And if Chris Wood didn't play in between, then that's probably where I'd go. Fabian Schär feels like too much of a doubt to go with, if I'm honest. He probably will play, but I just don't think you want to take that risk. Thoughts on Livramento is absolutely fine. I think I probably would take Trippier for a 1 week punt. I don't think he is I don't think Trippier is a good pick outside of free hit because he's not worth the money. But when you're on a free hit and you have all the money, then yeah, I think it's fine. You don't have free hit and just have one transfer left. Should I do Saka to Kluivert this week or wait? I probably would do a transfer if you need to get a full 11 out. Yeah, Brian and Burma I prefer, and Jared Bowen I prefer over going with Kluivert this week though. Is Iwobi a good choice? I don't mind the Iwobi pick. I do think he's had a very good season and maybe slightly more lucky returns this season than maybe we would have expected from him. But I don't mind the Iwobi pick if you want a differential. Iwobi or Kluivert? I'd probably go Kluivert over Iwobi. Raul or punt on Welbeck. Again, the Raul Jimenez spot. If you want to go Welbeck, if you want to go Chris Wood, I have absolutely no problem with any of these picks. I have absolutely no problem with it. I do wonder about Chris Wood. Like, Chris Wood feels the pick that I want, but then I have to tell myself, is it just because it's the game on Thursday? Which is probably right. Barnes instead of Murphy. I just think there's an okay chance that Anthony Gordon comes back into the lineup. I don't particularly want to take that risk, if I'm honest. I wouldn't pick Gordon, as Double is asking, but I don't have enough faith. And Make Murphy's been really good, so. We could double up on the Wolves forwards. You could go Strand Larson, Cunha. That also works. As a Liverpool fan, you don't fancy Diaz. I think that's very reasonable as well. So I posted a list at the beginning of the game week, and the list completely stands that there are probably 40 plus good picks this week. And all of them are in the chat, right? So Mbumo, Iwobi, Wood, Diaz, what else have we got? Strand Larson, Jimenez, Welbeck. Like, all of these are good picks. Like Bowen, like Kluivert, like Alanga, Cunha, Isak. Like, all of these are good picks, and I can't say no to any of them. And if you told me that you free hit with a completely different 11 to me, you could build a very, okay, maybe apart from Salah and Isak, apart from them, you could build a very good 11 that I'd look at and go, yeah, like, that's still a good team. And it's as good a team, and you could make 9 changes. Like, you could go Leno in goal, you could go Trippier, you could go Robinson and Trent, you could go Salah, Mbumo, Barnes, Kluivert, Strand Larson, Isak, Chris Wood, or Welbeck. And it's just as good as, it feels very strong as well. So there is very little between these final picks, which will inherently be, unfortunately, on our free hit, decided by luck. Like, at the end of the day, like, I look at my defender and my goalkeeper, it's Pope and Sessegnon versus Leno and Trippier. And at the end of the day, there's virtually nothing to pick between that. You might have a hunch or an inkling that it goes one way or it goes another, but at the end of the day, that decision will be decided by luck. And it's the same with something like a Barnes. Like, if you fancy the Barnes risk, I think he's a better pick. If Barnes starts, he's the best midfielder in the game probably this week outside of Salah. But you do have the risk that Anthony Gordon, I don't think, is going to be benched for every single game between now and the end of the season. And I expect him to come back in at some point, and maybe this will be it. He might not be it. You don't think Sessegnon will start? So I was looking at Sessegnon, and I don't know why I had in my mind that he'd played more minutes recently than this. This doesn't feel as positive as I thought. I'm pretty sure that Wolves game, he played at left back as well. He didn't play where he's been playing. Then he played 30 minutes against Arsenal and got an assist. He scored against Liverpool. He didn't do anything against Bournemouth and played 56, but that sub was by accident. And then 78 this week. I don't think it's guaranteed that he starts. I do agree. And maybe I'll end up safer by the deadline by going Trippier, Leno. But I just know if Sessegnon starts, like, his attacking data is so much better than any defender in the game if he plays. Wilson is objectively the better player as well. I think I probably agree on that. But Sessegnon's been playing well, and the manager Marco Silva literally said, oh, he's taken his chance well. So does Wilson come straight back in? I don't think so. But a bit like the Trent thing, it falls pretty close to 60 predicted minutes. So, yeah. I do think I'm probably going to chance it. I feel like I need to chance something. Because outside of that, my team is really boring. Gordon is subbed in for Murphy 3 games in a row, so surely Barnes is better. Probably, but again, it's just the chance that he doesn't start. And it's the fact that Eddie Howe is also now back in the dugout, and he's back doing more of the team selection and training than he had been over those games where it was Barnes. And I just know that Eddie Howe likes yeah. I don't have a cold. I just sneezed, and I get like this after I sneeze. Fulham's record against Southampton is very poor. Like, maybe Sessegnon is enough, and then I just go Raul to Chris Wood, for example. Eddie Howe loves Gordon. Like, this is what I mean. I think I agree with you, and I'm not going to go Barnes. I'm almost certain I'm not going to go Barnes. I'm almost certain. I don't think it's worth the risk. I think I'm happy to take my risks elsewhere. I think. Yeah, never back the early kickoff. Gandhi's rule. It's true. It's true. Double Chelsea. I mean, I could do... So if we play around with this, right? I could do a draft which just has loads of players from different teams, right? So I do Raul to Chris Wood. I'd probably do Cucurella to Trippier. And then I'd go like Kepa in goal, right? And maybe that's just more comfortable. Because Kepa does have Hall potential this week. If there's one goalkeeper who's likely, it's probably Pickford if he managed to keep out Chelsea. But so just to show you what that looks like, that would look like this. And I would just spread the risk a little bit. So I don't love Kepa though. Pickford's bad. I know. I'm not saying go for Pickford, but I just think that, if there was a goalkeeper who's going to pull up a 15-pointer this week, it might be him. Why risk injuries in FA Cup with any Forest players? Yeah, I think that's probably true. If Gordon starts, is he then the better pick? Yeah, whoever starts on that left wing is the best pick for Newcastle. But yeah, we don't know that. We don't know who's going to play there, whereas it looks very likely that it will be. Yeah, but let's change it back. Who are we dropping? Kepa to Pope. Chris Wood versus Cunha is really close. I'm going to keep Chris Wood in there for now, but I imagine I'll swap that back as well. On free hit, I want to take risks. Any suggestions? Yes, I actually did build a risk free hit draft yesterday. Let me find it. So I went double Wolves defense in Jose Sarr and Ait Nori. You could go Semedo over one of them. I did go Sessegnon and Cucurella. I went Murphy, Barnes, Isak. I think if you're wanting to take a punt, I think you go triple Newcastle attack and hope you get the two wingers. Raul Jimenez, Strand Larson, Salah, Diaz. It's not that different, but it feels like triple Newcastle attack could be a massive swing for you. Would probably be a go. I don't think there's anything wrong with an Iwobi as a pick. I just don't think it's particularly exciting. He's been fine, but there was a long period where he didn't do anything for. But I suppose that's same with Palmer, and it's the same. But Iwobi's had 2 hauls away at West Ham and home to Liverpool, and outside of that, I don't mind the Iwobi pick if you want to target Southampton, but again, Bowen is absolutely fine. I don't mind it. I don't think Brighton and West Ham will be that high scoring a game though. Estupiñán is differential. Yeah, I don't mind that. I quite like Estupiñán. He's been in a lot of my drafts. He's never made the starting 11, but he's one of those that I'm like, yep, fine pick. Can easily go in my squad. Yep. Currently top of your mini league. You're only 10 behind. Second's only 10 behind. Do I take a minus? You've got Areola, Milenkovic, O'Brien, Williams, Murphy, Salah. I probably would take some hits. Yeah, look for players that you want long term, like Bowen and Mbermo. 80 points behind in your mini league. Diaz, captain, safe. I'd go Isak if I needed a differential. I don't think I'd go Diaz. The thing is, we're going with the differential captain for someone like Diaz is you're still wanting Liverpool to do well, but you're not wanting it to be Salah, which I think is not a great way to do it. Jota over Diaz as a punt, but minutes. Again, I think it's really difficult to pick if it'll be Gakpo or if it'll be Jota. So I don't think I would. Are you worried about Trent not starting? I think he'll start, but I do think there's a chance he doesn't necessarily get to 60. Is this team locked in? No. No. I've still got Chris Wood in it, and I think I'll end up with Raul Jimenez again. What I think about Burma on the bench, I don't particularly love it, but that game was just not predicted to have loads of goals in. So I don't feel like Mbeumo's high potential is there for this game, if I'm honest. But I don't mind it. Do I think Lavia could start for us today? Casado right back. I actually wondered that, which I think is good for Cucurella and Palmer, isn't it? If that happens. From the quotes, it sounds like it'll be Reece, though. I think like he'll go Reece right back. He says he doesn't want to throw Lavia back in yet, basically. I don't think it will happen. I wonder if we'll actually go with like Trev right back against Everton. But morning, Adam. How are we doing? Hope you had fun at your golf day yesterday. It looked very fun. I was interested. You took an iron off. I don't know what par that was. I couldn't see the hole. You posted some videos. You took an iron off the tee and loads of other people took a driver. But I couldn't really tell what was going on, if I'm honest. Semenyo or Kluivert? If I'm going Bournemouth, it would be Kluivert, definitely. Yeah. Why do I have Trent in my squad but on the bench as he's an expensive asset to bench? It's just on free hit. You basically have unlimited money. It's almost impossible to spend all the money that you have on a free hit. So, yeah, I've got him. But, yeah, I could put anyone in that spot, basically. What mid would I start instead of Diaz? You could punt on Bowen. You could punt on Bumo. There's a few good options in there. You could go Mitoma. You could go for double Newcastle and not go Pope. You gain literally nothing with only one Newcastle defender and not captaining Isak. Yes, that's true. But if I was to put two Newcastle defenders in there, I would then not gain from any of their attackers. And if I captained Isak, I would then not gain from Salah. So, yeah. No, it's not unlimited money, but I haven't built a draft where I've not had the money for what I want. So, double Fulham defense. Again, I feel pretty comfortable in picking one defender from 4 teams this week, rather than piling into something. But that's pretty boring. It's a pretty boring way to do it. If you're chasing, doubling up on defenders is probably a good way to do it. I'm confident with Sessegnon's minutes. No, I don't think Harry Wilson is particularly ready to start, but yeah. I might not end up with him. I might not take the risk. He does feel like he's worth the risk. If he starts, he's just the best defender, it feels like. But have I watched any of the Ballers League? I haven't. I've seen clips, but I haven't had really time to watch it. Wood over Jimenez. I think I'll end up with Jimenez. I was just doing a few changes to my team. You're 1 million rank. You have Isak, maybe the best captain. If I cap Isak, you're wondering, is it worth backing against Salah completely since you'll hurt your rank? I personally wouldn't do that. Like, I would just captain Isak. But if you want to go all against Salah and take him out your free hit, then fine. But of course, that comes with massive risk. What's the defensive data like for Brentford? Gordon is in theory available. Crosses conceded. I want key passes. Brentford do concede an awful lot recently. It's the quick turnaround for Forest. Like, Brentford have conceded so many key passes. Look, they're like top for all of them. They've actually conceded more key passes than Southampton have. If Gordon starts from the bench, who is he subbing on for? Probably Murphy. I would expect whoever plays left wing to probably play 90. Unless the scoreline gets comfortable, and then they'll both get taken off and someone like Willock will come on. You've not seen one person in FPL with Neto. I don't mind Neto as a pick, to be honest. I don't mind Neto. I don't think he gets into my top midfielders, but I don't mind him as a punt. Yeah, you can keep swapping around your options. Why Murphy over Barnes? I just worry too much that Gordon might start. But if I worry that much about that, I should worry about Sessegnon and Wilson probably. But then if I was to do that and I go Chris Wood, then I've got no Fulham away at Southampton. I feel like every free hit week we never pick Fulham, and they always do really well. Wow, there are 6,000 viewing and watching and only 400 likes. We are half an hour into the stream. Thank you very much. Good morning to you all. Thank you very much for joining. If you could drop a like on the stream, that would be fantastic. I'm sure we can hit 1,000 with 6,000 of you in and having liked. And if you want to subscribe to the channel for all the videos, all the streams and all that as well, then please subscribe and drop a like. Thank you very much. Sorry, Adam. You said free hit is like unlimited funds. Can I lend you 2 million so you can build this team? Apologies. Just don't have Trent on the bench. Just don't have Trent. Not on free hit. Who should you buy? We've got a thing in the top right-hand corner which will have your... Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah. Free hit differentials. There we go. And then in a minute, you'll have players to... Hang on. I thought I put in players to buy that were... That doesn't feel right. That's something. Oh, it is right in the top right. It's just not working on my screen. And the fixtures look... I don't know. I can't fix that now. Hope it looks okay. Larson a good punt over Cunha. Yeah, I don't mind the Larson pick. I do think Cunha probably starts though. Don't forget to save my team this game week. In theory, it wouldn't have made a difference last week, but I appreciate that. I almost, for anyone who wasn't aware, I swapped in Isak for Foden about 20 minutes before the deadline and never clicked confirm until after I'd thought the deadline has passed. But it hadn't. Wood versus Jimenez. Wood is just the one that I feel like I want. But that's because I've had such success with him this season. And is he actually a better pick than Jimenez? I feel like I can't. I feel like you've got 3 strikers against newly promoted teams, but... I feel like the front line of Jimenez, Cunha, Isak against the newly promoted, the relegation sides is just too difficult to turn down. Why are you so confident on Cunha if you yourself said you doubted him now that Bellegarde is back? So the let me see if I can find it. There were embargoed quotes from the manager which basically said that he's really important to them. Now maybe he's just saying that, but I did repost it last night. But I do think the Bellegarde thing is an issue, but this is what he said in part of the embargoed quotes last night. He's our player. He's committed. That's all. He has the mentality to help the team. He doesn't care about the news. Is committed to the team. Played 5 balls going after amid interest. So I think there's risk there, and I definitely wouldn't be captaining Cunha, but I do think I would have him in my team. Palmer or Kluivert? I mean, I've gone Palmer. Not tempted by Evanilson. I just don't think Evanilson is better than Wood or Welbeck or Jimenez, personally. I don't mind the Welbeck pick. FPL Victorious Secret is in the chat shouting Welbeck. Yeah, I don't mind it. I quite like the Welbeck pick. Our home to West Ham. Some of you in the chat trying to say early team news at me. The fact that we are so far from the deadline makes me inclined to not believe it. And if you want to tag me in someone's source on Twitter, that's fine. But without seeing that, I cannot believe it. And please, of course, do not put stuff that is not reliable in the chat. Is my team locked in? No. Wood scoring a goal when you don't own him hurts more than any other player. I agree. I don't like seeing him score when you don't own him. Why do I have 2 5 million goalkeepers? Just because you have them. I have the money. No, I imagine I'll go Jimenez. But like his returns are no exciting read either. If Sessegnon isn't nailed, Robinson, yes. Although if Sessegnon's not nailed, I don't like Robinson's attacking threat enough. So I'd probably end up with Leno and then go Pickford. Go Pickford, go Trippier. What am I talking about? Start 2 from Diaz, from Isak, Iwobi, Strand Larson, Diaz. Probably Isak, Strand Larson. Probably Isak, Strand Larson. Do you lose your accumulated transfers? No. So if you had 2 transfers going into this week, you'll have 2 transfers next week. You don't lose them anymore. It was a rule change this year. Won't Forest be tired by Friday against a fresh Brentford? Again, probably true. Probably true. I just don't like this reading for Jimenez. In game week 20, he scored 2 penalties. In game week 19, he scored 1 goal against Bournemouth, and then he scored 2 penalties. And since then, he scored twice against Newcastle. And so, he hasn't started that many. I mean, he has. He started West Ham, he started Leicester, United, Newcastle, Forest, Palace, Brighton, Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea. And he scored twice. I can't help but not be excited by the Jimenez pick. Yeah, so the people talking about the Rob T data, they have, I can get that up as well. They have a very high, where is it? Yeah, so they have a 50% chance of a clean sheet, but they also are predicted to score the most goals as well. So it's like the clean sheet's really high, so you should double up on their defense. But then the goals are really high, so then you want to have a double up on their attack as well. Shah okay. I probably wouldn't punch Shah on a free hit. If you own him in your normal team and you can't sell him, I think that's fine. You do know Southampton have conceded 5 pens in the last 6 games. Now that is a stat. Have they? Didn't they concede like 2 in one game to Villa? Yeah. Was the West Ham one a pen? No. Did they concede as pen to Spurs? Yes. Did they concede one to Palace? No. Did they concede one to Wolves? Don't know. Liverpool? Yes, 2 pens. A couple of them in different games though. Murphy replacement, if you go to Newcastle defence, good clean sheet odds. Yeah, you can do that. And Burmo's in there. You've got... I think the midfielder options are actually not as good, which is why I quite like having a Newcastle one in there. Diaz, Palmer and Burmo would probably be my midfield if I didn't have Murphy. Jimenez will take Fulham pens. You currently have Livramento. Is Trippier better? I don't think there's that much between it. On a free hit, I probably would go with a Trippier over a Livramento just because, for me, the budget is there. And he's on a lot of set pieces if Gordon doesn't start. But, yeah. Why am I choosing Cucurella over Trent? Just Trent's uncertainty of his minutes. I don't want to have too many minutes risk players in my team. Do Ipswich have no recognised left back for this game? No, they don't. Not that we're aware of. Unless they do something. They might play Ben Johnson, who's been playing at right back, at left back. So if you think that is a left back, then that's fine. But they don't have someone who's naturally been playing there this season, no. Jimenez had no XG in the game against Chelsea. Yeah, I don't mind having one bad game for a player like that. But, like, having one game where you don't have chances is fine. Like, every striker has games like that, and that's not an issue. But long term, his data has been okay. It's just not been that exciting. Like, no XG in the last 3 games combined on this. Now, he has only started one of those, to be fair. But before that, he had a couple of good chances against Brighton and against Wolves. Forest, Newcastle. Do I think Southampton will play low block or try to entertain? I think they still want another point, if I'm honest. They're still 1 point away. They're level with Derby's points total, and I think they'll want to beat it. So I still think they will be a little bit pragmatic. I'm such a Chelsea fan. I actually think I see a lot of people with Cucurella and Palmer in their teams. Pickle's majorly not convinced by Jimenez. I can't help but agree, but I also can't help but think if Isak, Cunha, Jimenez smashed it against the relegation teams, also would I be surprised? I'd be like, yeah, Harry, that was really obvious. You should have just like not overthought it as well. So I'm not convinced on Jimenez, but yeah. Can't see yourself going with a Chelsea defender. Again, that's absolutely fine. Chelsea's defence, it's just a shame that we have a goalkeeper who flaps at it. If we had a goalkeeper who was, really good, then I think that we'd have more confidence in it. For someone who's had Jimenez for a while, keeping him on the free hit just doesn't feel right, given the recent lack of returns. How solid if we get news on Trent starting? Given the game on Trent is tomorrow afternoon, I would say the chance of us getting anything on Liverpool is almost nothing. Why Cucurella over Trent? Just not certain on Trent's minutes being enough to definitely do it. You need your help. Diaz and Mbeumo or Raul and Diaz. I prefer the front three, I think. I would go with the front three. I think there's enough good forwards to not pick it. Palmer or Raul. I probably have more in Palmer, I think. Start 2, Palmer, Welbeck, and Iwobi. Personally, I'd bench Iwobi, but I don't love the Iwobi pick as much as some people love it. So, I haven't owned Iwobi at all this season, I don't think, and I don't plan on starting now, I don't think. Why Sessegnon over Trent when both likely similar minutes? Because if Sessegnon starts, playing at right wing, he's the best defender in the game. Playing in that position. If he starts and gets 60 away at Southampton, he's the best defender in the game, I think. He's got 4 returns in 7 games playing in that position. So, yeah, I think if that's where he's going to play, he's got to be up there. I think the chance of Sessegnon starting, I'd probably put it 60, 70%. But it's more the sub before 60 that concerns me. He might not start and then, yeah, it won't look great. Southampton will score. I mean, Southampton, it feels like out of all the high clean sheet percentage answers, the one that people are all looking at is Sessegnon, is Southampton, that they're the ones that are going to score, which I think is probably right, but Luis Diaz scored 4 goals in 5 appearances against Spurs. If you're chasing rank, would I consider captaining him? No, because I also think Mo Salah has a pretty good record against them as well. I don't talk about Palmer the same way I talk about Salah, as I talk about Jimenez. I don't mind the Palmer pick. I completely get why a lot of people don't love the Palmer pick with the data that he's putting up, with the performances he's shown, with the performances Chelsea have shown. Like, I completely get it. If you don't like the pick, that's absolutely fine. It's not like it's a long-term thing. If you've got a player in your team at the moment that you don't like you're on a free hit, you have the ability to go with completely who you want. So if you don't like Palmer and you don't like Cucurella or you don't like Sessegnon's minutes, there's so many good other options, then yeah. You sound knackered. The stress of the free hit or the neighbours building work keeping you up. It's actually neither of those. The people above us were all at it. Their sleep pattern is so bizarre, and their living room is above our bedroom, so it's just at random times during the night. That was, if I sound tired, that's probably why. Kirkes, I don't mind the Kirkes pick. Palmer as a 4th mid punt seems a decent pick. I think that's also the thing, right? I'm not saying Palmer is my first mid. I'm also not saying he's probably my 2nd mid. He might even be my 4th mid, as that comment said. And I think that's fine. Who would I play my assistant manager on? I'd either go Wolves or Newcastle. If not, I'd punt on Brentford away at Forest. Why not Robinson over Sessegnon? Robinson's assists have really dried up recently. So, if I wasn't going to go Sessegnon, I'd go Leno and I'd go Trippier. Alisson to cover Liverpool defence and not risk. I don't love the Alisson pick at all. I don't think their clean sheet odds are nearly high enough. I just don't know about Chris Wood versus Jimenez. The rest of it feels, I say, unlikely to change, but Sessegnon is possible. I would say Cunha won't change. Isak won't change. Palmer, Murphy, Diaz, Salah. I don't think I'll change Cucurella now. Ipswich will score. Yeah, they might do. But to be honest, if Ipswich score, it's probably good for my rank. Because there will be people with a double up on their defence. There'll be more people who double up on their defence than don't own their defender at all. What about Gakpo? Slot likes him. Should play, but it's one of those forward spots. If he was a midfielder, maybe, but we have so many good forwards this week. I don't think there's space for a player who we don't guarantee can start. In theory, we can't guarantee that Cunha starts as well, right? But Wood or Cunha, not on free hit. Not on free hit, Wood feels like a better long-term buy than Cunha does. I think he's high. I think in my players to buy, which will be coming up in the top right in a moment, for those of you not on free hit, I have Chris Wood in there. He's a better long-term buy, I think, than Cunha. Just particularly because you're going to have it every week if Cunha starts or not. The Sessegnon stuff feels like Reguilon last year. Free hit, 20 minutes and a red card. Yeah, I know what you mean. Woods never scored more than one goal. I mean, yeah, but also him. I thought exactly the same as that. But then I looked and he scored double digits once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And Jimenez has done it once. Like, Jimenez has only had 1 double return, and that was when he got 2 penalties in the same game. He's not had a double return outside of that at all. Only time he's done it is when he got 2 penalties. So, I don't know. Surprised I've gone with Palmer and Chris Wood. Chris Wood I'm definitely not set on. It'll probably be Jimenez. But part of me just likes the Chris Wood pick, but is double game week 36 a possibility, and for which teams? Yes, the teams who reach the FA Cup final and their opponents could double in game week 36. It's not guaranteed though. Why not 5 attacking midfielders and bench Raul? Because my fifth defender that I'd add would probably be Mbermo, and I prefer Chris Wood over Mbermo this week. So I originally had Robinson on the bench, and now it's Semedo. I mean, they're going to be last sub, I imagine. There's not much in it, really. Lalari, how are we doing? Taking the chance on a few differential picks. Hopefully it works out. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. Raul, Matoma, Welbeck, Iwobi. Probably Welbeck, Iwobi. Assistant manager still active. Who would I go? Thomas Frank if you want a table bonus manager. If not, Eddie Howe or the Wolves manager. Triple up on all versus all the relegated teams. I don't mind that. And I actually said that, like, is that just the best way to go? Triple Wolves, triple Newcastle, triple Fulham, Salah, +1. And you have 9 players against the teams in the relegation zone. And then that's that. Thoughts on Evan Nielsen instead of Jimenez? I don't love the Evan Nielsen pick. I'd rather, he's not on penalties. His goal scoring record recently has been pretty good, but early parts of the season, Man United have been more pragmatic recently, I would say. I don't mind it, and if you go Evan Nielsen, I think he could definitely get something in that game, but it's not the pick for me. Anwar, thank you very much for the reminder. We are an hour to go until the deadline, so we are going to put it in subscriber only mode. You literally have to subscribe for 1 second to start asking questions in the chat as well. So let's go and do that now. Do I like Livramento? Yes, I do. Yeah. Bournemouth defenders worth any consideration? I think there's so many good defenders. If I was going to go a Bournemouth defensive asset, it would be Kepa. Because I actually think that's one of the teams where the goalkeeper versus the defenders, there's not that much between them. Most of the other teams, I feel like there is a big gap between goalkeeper and defender. I don't feel so much with Bournemouth. So why not go Barnes, Murphy and Isak? I don't mind that, but Newcastle also have the highest chance of a clean sheet, right? They are predicted to score the most goals and most likely to keep a clean sheet. So I want 11 Newcastle players basically off that. I want Barnes, I want Murphy, I want Gordon. In theory, I'd have Isak, I'd have Trippier, Burn, Livramento, Pope. I'd have it all. Maybe on a free hit, they should change that and I could just have as many players from one team as I want. One hour until the deadline. As I said on Twitter this morning, when we get to the deadline, there will be someone on Twitter who says they forgot to activate the free hit, they missed the deadline or something like that. Please do not let that be you. Please don't be the person who goes on Twitter after the deadline, because unfortunately nothing can be done. If you don't make your chip active before the deadline, there is nothing that FPL can do about it. So please don't let that be you. If you haven't activated the free hit chip left, please go and check it now. If you think you have, go and check it as well. Like free hit active. Please just go and everyone just go and check it. Even if you are certain it's on, just please go and check it. Don't let that person be you. Start 3, Trips, Ainori, Kukurea, Sessegnon. If I had to bench one of those, I probably would bench Sessegnon. Probably. Jota over Palmer. I'm just not certain. I think Gakpo will probably start. So I wouldn't punt on Jota, I don't think. Which defence should I double up on? Not Newcastle. Probably Wolves if I was doing it. Why no Raul Jimenez a Newcastle defender instead of the goalkeeper? I may well end up on Jimenez. It depends how I feel on Sessegnon. Like, I could just go really boring. Like, the boring team would be this. Oh. Who would I put in here? I don't. Let's just put Kepa in for now. So this would be the really boring team, which may be just the best play. Don't risk them Sessegnon minutes. Like, this would just be the boring route. Just don't take a risk. In future rounds, am I going to invest in having Forest players? I've already got double Forest defense in my team outside of free hit, so probably not loads more. If I need a forward, Chris Wood will be up there, but yeah. Why Murphy? I just wonder if Gordon will start. So I don't want to punt on that left wing personally. Trent will start. I think you're probably right. But I also think Spurs might score in that game as well. Southampton and Ipswich have conceded from corners. I mean, I could drop Kukurea. Tonali instead of Murphy or Barnes. It's safer. You're going to get the minutes, but I still think I'd take one of the wingers, I think. Buy Isak for a hit. I mean, if you don't own him this week, I probably would want to. So if you're selling a player who doesn't play, yes. Trippier doesn't play 90. Yeah, but he always gets past... he always gets past 60, so... Bench Palmer or Raul. Had to play one. I'd probably bench Raul. Jamie Vardy to go mad. Now he's announced his retirement. I did think that. Anyone going on a Jamie Vardy punt away at Wolves? Anyone fancy it? I don't recommend it, but yeah, if you're chasing. Why is no one picking Robinson? Just Sessegnon is definitely, if Sessegnon plays 60, he's definitely a more exciting pick. So Pickle, then you've got to go with him. If you think he goes nuts, you could just drop Welbeck. Would I consider Cunha or Strand Larsen together? I don't mind the double up. Like Jimenez to Strand Larsen, I don't mind. In this team, and I just drop Semedo, that's fine. You low-key feel a cheeky 0-0 between Southampton and Fulham. Yeah, I think that's... I don't think it'll be that high scoring a game. Don't think it'll be that high scoring. Hell no. I don't even remember what draft I started the day with. I think I had I don't think I had this, but I had Sessegnon and Pope. Yeah, it was 0-0 the last time they played. Fulham can't score against these weaker teams. I'm just going on him just to see the scores. I mean, they scored twice against twice. I mean, they're not that high scoring a team. They're not scoring more than 2 goals very often. I do fancy Chris Wood in that position. I really do. No, I think I want to punt on Sessegnon, and I think does Sessegnon cover Jimenez? That's the question. Because really what I want is this. But it comes with more risk, and anyone who knows me knows I hate risk. And then no Leno, and you go Pope. Anyone who knows me knows I absolutely hate risk, and this team feels like it's got just slightly too much of it, but it feels better to me. Feels better. Why do I hate risk? Because, I don't know, I don't like... If you have risk and you get things wrong, the punishment feels worse than the upside if you get it right. No risk is boring. Yeah, you're probably right. Will Wood not be tired after the game? Like, he could be, but like Chris Wood often just plays 75 in games regardless. Like, I imagine he just plays 75 in the cup semi-final regardless. Honestly, if Sessegnon comes off after 59 minutes, Twitter is going to have a meltdown. Free hit is the best time to take risks. But is it? Because it's a differential in itself playing the chip. What did you... Yelena, Chris Wood doesn't do tired. That's what we like to see. Chris Wood doesn't. A bit of fun for the free hit. It's just having... I want something on that Thursday night game. I really do as well. And I'm not afraid to admit that kickoff time impacts my FPL picks. But that being said, I do have double Chelsea. Yelena, I hope my stream is making it into your vlog for Game Week 34 as well. Harry, you're showing different teams. Which are you most likely? I'm changing my team as much as I've changed my team over the past 2 days. I just keep changing it and changing it. I think I've changed my team more times for this free hit than I've ever done in a week. I think I've changed as much as I changed my team for Game Week 1 this season. It feels like I'm constantly... I feel like I'm constantly changing my team. I just want the deadline. I just... I just want the deadline. You have Sessegnon, Barnes, Dran Larson, and no Palmer. Pray for you. I mean, it feels all right, that. And if I get to the end of the Chelsea game and it's finished 1-1 and it's not Palmer, free hit's going to be in the bin by 3 o'clock. Oh. Sorry, Shane. Let me have a look. Captain Cunha for a differential. I think there's enough risk with Bellegarde being back that I think Isak is the perfect differential captain for me. Why not any Fulham attackers? You see, as soon as I take one of them out, I then am missing someone else that someone says I need to pick. Oh, I'm going around in circles. Trippier to replace Cucurella, but I've got Pope. And then who do I go in goal? I don't really want Sanchez. Forest players a risk, but then I've got Mbermo if... About 60% of the top 10k will play their free hit this week, maybe 65. The Warriors, Chelsea do leak goals at home. Look at what happened with Ipswich. I agree, but I don't particularly... I could just play double Wolves and just not bother with Cucurella, just because... I feel like because it's my team, I don't want to have it. And I'm going to the game as well. Pickle, are you playing... I can't remember what your team was. I did see it. Are you playing Cucurella? I just searched Cucurella. You know, an FPL manager who's more lucky than I am. So you don't have Cucurella. Oh, maybe you've swapped it from that post. You don't have Cucurella. Barnes, I don't mind Harvey Barnes. Yeah, I'm not certain he's definitely going to start. Brozier can't play his parent club. As someone who's watched Brozier, them not being able to pick him is no hardship. That's the only thing. But yeah, it's not possible. Yeah, I did say I don't want double defense for any team. You are right. You're right, Nuclear. You are right. Watch the clip of Palmer's last 20 shots. I don't think I want to watch it. See, you've gone Sanchez. If you're going, I'd love one. Thanks. -4 for a keeper who plays. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. Why don't I just stack up your starting 11? What's the bench? If I took Trent off my bench, I don't have anywhere to spend the money on in my starting 11. Is Dubravka now viable because of Pope? Pope will play for Newcastle today. Well, I presume so. Any changes to my wildcard? No, it's pretty similar. I haven't thought too much since I posted the wildcard. Why Sessegnon and not Robinson? If Sessegnon plays, he's definitely worth the risk, but yeah, it's a risk, right? He might not start. He might not get 60, but do I like risk? I realise it was a joke about the Pope. Leno in goal, replace Cucurella with Trippier. But I don't particularly want to double Fulham. Like, I think, yeah. I don't particularly want to double up on defences. Have I looked at Raul or Welbeck? I had Jimenez in a lot of my drafts. Something is telling me, and it has been telling me since, I think I posted it, I don't know, a few days ago. Something was telling me that I wanted Chris Wood in my free hit, and I now have one player playing away from home this week, which also feels quite a good thing. That Trippier goal is gonna be painful. Every team I'm seeing on Twitter, right, is just a variation of the same. It's like one or two players different. Sessegnon and Pope or Livramento and Leno. Sessegnon, Sessegnon and Pope is what I've got in my team at the moment. Why not Jota? Jota or Gakpo could start. It's pretty close. You don't want Chris Wood. You just want a player in that late game. There is also that. But I do think Brentford give up big chances. And yeah. Is 5 at the back fine with Wolves, Fulham and Newcastle keeper? I don't think I would go 5 at the back. I think there's good attackers. As much as there's good defenders, there's good attackers. Robinson is safer than Sessegnon if you want a player on Thursday. But then at least, the thing is with Sessegnon, at least I feel like I've got a coverage of the Fulham defence and the Fulham attack. The issue is if he doesn't start or doesn't play 60, I don't have those things. Because it feels a little bit like I'm covering the attack and I'm covering the defence at the same time. But the issue is I'm not really doing either of those things if he doesn't get to 60 minutes. Best captain if chasing, I probably would just go with Isak. I think there's enough doubt on someone like a Palmer. There's the Bellegarde thing with Cunha. There's just enough going on that, yeah. I think it would be Isak if I needed a differential. I don't mind Welbeck. I don't mind Welbeck at all. I feel like Sessegnon is going to be my punt. But I feel like Chris Wood is also a punt. Yeah, let's see. It was the line that Marco Silva said when he said, Sessegnon has taken his chance well. Bowen against a leaky Brighton defence. I don't mind the Bowen pick. Do I ever consider the reverse fixture? Not really. I don't think it leads that much. I'd be interested if someone wanted to do a study, first half of the FPL season versus second. How much of a correlation are there between first and second fixtures? But how big? I reckon Barnes 65% chance of starting. Best Newcastle defender is probably Trippier. Sanchez keeper, I don't mind it. I think I'm overthinking it. Categorically, 100%. I entered the overthinking stage probably about Thursday lunchtime. And I've been there ever since. I'm under no illusion that I am overthinking my free hit. Yeah. But isn't that what all of us are doing? I feel like there's not one of us here that isn't overthinking the free hit. If you can't, some people are asking, Harry, I can't afford it. That's because price changes happen, so your squad value will be a little bit different. Raul versus Wood is really close. I'm hoping that I can, get with Sessegnon, but I can get with Sessegnon with the attacking threat, but I don't know. I feel like Jimenez is just the obvious one, but why are you back to Palmer, not someone else? I don't know. If you, as alternatives to Palmer and Cucurella, I don't know who I'd go. I could go Trippier over Cucurella, but then I've got to pick another goalkeeper. So Matoma, Bowen. Remember to click save this week. I have. Is Barnes a risk? Yeah, I think it's fair to say Barnes is a risk. I think it's fair to say he's a risk, but I think he probably does start, but I do think he is a risk. Alisson, if I was going Liverpool, I'd go for a defender. I'd go Trent or Van Dijk, I think. Am I going Kepa as my backup? Probably not. Probably won't go Semedo either. It will probably be Jose Sarr. And then I just need a defender. Probably Robinson. I'm interested to know quite how many times I've changed this team. Why people think Barnes will be benched? Just because Gordon's not going to be benched for every game between now and the end of the season. At some point, it will swap back. But do I think Murphy 60 is better than Bowen 90? I think that's a fair question. Is Murphy worth it on a free hit if he only plays 65? I just feel like I want a second piece of that Newcastle attack. And I can't risk the other picks because if I don't go with it, every Newcastle goal just hurts because Isak is going to be too highly owned. So Howe absolutely loves Gordon. It's just the feeling I have is that Howe is back and Howe loves Gordon. But I might be wrong. Shaw is a doubt. I would still expect him to play. Yeah. Ooh. Chelsea after Champions League, Champions Footy, so we'll push this game. So what about Gordon then? The thing is, I'm not certain enough that Gordon starts for me to pick Gordon. So I think I just go for the safe option, which is Murphy, and look for the first time it will be Barnes and Gordon together. But I think I'm okay. I don't mind. Like, the thing is with Pope, I feel like I'm just covering the Newcastle defence a little bit because I like Sessegnon, I like Aït-Nouri, and I like Cucurella. So what's stopping Howe benching Murphy and playing Gordon Barnes? I mean, Murphy's been great, right? Murphy's been really good for a long time for them. And Gordon and Barnes are both naturally playing on the left-hand side. And we haven't historically really seen it happen very much where he just plays, where he drops Murphy. It definitely could happen, but you're 1020 in the world. Should you play defensive? The whole should you play defensive or should you be aggressive depends on what your goal is. If you're 1020 and you want to finish in the top 100 in the world, then you need to be aggressive. If you're 90k but your goal is to finish in the top 100k, then you need to be safe. So just what your rank is doesn't determine whether you should be aggressive or safe with your free hit. It's where is your rank in comparison to your goals? Where do you want to fit? We've only got 5 weeks left of this season. The opportunities to go different or to get knocked back are lowering and lowering as the weeks go on. And if Villa lose in the FA Cup, it will drop again. So it depends on what you want. If you are chasing and you need to get higher up, there are good risks this week, as Zugo just says, Munetzi in the chat. So it really depends on what you want from the remaining 5 weeks of the season. If you need to go aggressive, you need to chase. There's great ones, but you could be, as I said, you could be 5k, but your goal is higher, so you need to be aggressive. But you could be 90k, and your goal is top 100k or to win your mini league, which you're top of, and then being safe is better. So where you are, it doesn't make that much difference, basically. Why Chris Wood and not Jimenez? It's really close between the two. Just feels like a gut feel on Chris Wood this week. I don't know why. And it might backfire when Jimenez scores. So Howe would have picked the last two teams even at home. He literally said in his press conference, I probably would have rotated the team more. He said something of the lines of, we played 3 games in a week. I probably would have rotated the team more than that was. So he might have had implications on it, but I don't think he was picking the team as much as maybe he would have done. And he doesn't see them in training, right? He doesn't see, is Barnes training really well? How is Gordon training? How is Gordon recovering? He doesn't get all of that. He literally said, yeah, he didn't have the involvement. Yeah. Thank you. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you are new. Thank you all very much for joining. Hope you're having a very nice Saturday morning. Why not Raul or Welbeck over Chris Wood? They're all really, really close 50-50 picks. We're close to 2,000 likes. Thank you very much. Surprised you're not seeing Iwobi being picked a lot. Just doesn't feel that. I don't know. I don't mind the Iwobi pick, and he's a differential. Any alternatives to Pope in goal? You fancy Trips as the third? Yeah. Leno, Jose Sarr, Sanchez, Alisson, Kepa. I pressed the wrong button. Pressed the wrong button. We are heading for a break. Thank you so much. Yes, Star. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm going out again.
All right. I'll see you later. Sorry, I pressed the wrong button. I have a little thing. I have one of those stream decks which has buttons, and I was not looking at what I was pressing. Holly went out to get a coffee, and she very kindly brought me one as well. Sorry, was it really loud as well? I apologise. I will stop pressing them. Isn't Cunha a minute's risk? He's a slight if Bellegarde was to start. I do think I could press the outro as well. I've also got this one. Hang on, where is it? This is a good one. Oh, it's not even set up. Well, now that looks really bad. Anyway. Sorry, that was not meant to happen. That was not meant to happen. I haven't used it in a long time. Welbeck, definitely the best third forward. Yeah, I don't mind the Welbeck pick. I think they're all good third forwards. Harry's beginner level. Yeah. Holly is on free hit, but she did forget to do it, and she said she didn't have time this morning, and she had 3 minutes before she left the house. So I just got her phone and just made like transfers. I can't even remember what I did now. And she's a Forest fan, so I did put like triple Forest in it because I know she'd have wanted it. But I did very quickly do a free hit for her this morning. You haven't unlocked this part of the map. Yeah, great. Right, is Barnes risky? So let's do a few of the hot topic questions that we've got. Is Barnes risky? Like, he is a little bit. Eddie Howe didn't really have that much involvement in picking the team, and Gordon's not going to be benched for the remainder of the season, but Barnes has been really good, and I think the general opinion is he probably keeps his place, but I don't think it's guaranteed. Now, Gordon could come back in, and he could come back in place of Murphy, but generally they haven't played Barnes and Murphy together too much. So I think the general opinion is it will be Murphy for 65 and Gordon on Barnes on the left. And then, you know, the other one will probably come on for the one on the, for Murphy. Barnes is probably likely to start, but it does come with a risk, especially now Eddie Howe is back. I like Isak. I like Cunha. The third forward is completely up to you. Raul Jimenez against Southampton is a good pick. I like Welbeck. I personally don't love Evan Nilsson, but I understand why you'd want to pick him if you think Man United lose that game comfortably. I've gone with Chris Wood. I just have a feeling that I think he'll do quite well on the Thursday game, but they have a lot to play for. They're either going to be in a really good mood because they're in the FA Cup final, or they're going to be in a mode where they know they've got to go full for the Premier League if they get knocked out against Manchester City. So, and, you know, if he doesn't play, and for example, if he did get injured, I do have him burn my first sub. Looking at defenders, Trent's on my bench just because I've got the money. I'm almost certain I will not start Trent. Not confident enough that he definitely starts. Plus, not confident enough he definitely gets to 60 minutes. I could put Ben Mee on the bench. That would be funny. But then what happens if I needed that spot and then it looks really silly? But yeah, I probably should do that. Defensively, Sessegnon I like, Aït-Nouri I like, Cucurella I like, Trent I don't mind if you want to punt it, Trippier I like. Those are probably the defenders I'd look at. I don't love Robinson's attacking threat enough that if I was going to go Robinson, I'd just go Leno in goal and get another attacking defender like a Trippier, for example. Like, don't think I'd ever really play Robinson. What else is there? Midfielders. Palmer is completely up to you. If you don't want to go Palmer and you don't want to go Cucurella because Chelsea have been bad recently, that is absolutely fine and I completely get it. But Chelsea, it's a home fixture. You know, it's Everton, so fingers crossed with that. Liverpool, a lot of people are going with Luis Diaz because he looks like the second most nailed starter in attack, with a game that is predicting a lot of goals for Liverpool in the game that they should win the title. A lot of Liverpool fans think Trent will start. I agree, but the other thing is they have a lower clean sheet odds than some of the other teams as well. So I like Trent as a pick. I do. Larson or Cunha or just one? You could go both. I don't mind the double up. That's also true. Palmer hasn't scored since January. Yep. Scored 4 goals in this fixture last year, but I agree. Like Palmer's more of a differential than I thought he was going to be, and I'm quite happy with that. 5.1 million budget alternative to Trent. Semedo. Or, yeah, just anyone really, and then just bump Robinson up. Barnes not starting. Want to go different this week. Captain on Barnes. Barnes should start. I don't think I trust it enough to captain it, though. Considering the uncertainty of Forest after the Cup, thoughts on Welbeck, Trippier, Sells instead of Wood, Kukurea, Pope. Yeah, I don't mind that. Sells, I think Brentford probably do score, but I don't mind those. Kluivert, absolutely fine. If I was going for a Bournemouth attacker, it would be Kluivert. I prefer Kluivert over Evan Nielsen, for example. Yeah, I don't mind the Kluivert pick at all. Fabian Schär is a slight doubt. I probably wouldn't pick him on a free hit. Palmer or Neto. I understand that Neto's been good recently, but I just don't think you can... I find it difficult to pick Neto over Palmer when they play for the same team. I just think Palmer is probably the better of the two. Other options instead of Palmer, you could go Iwobi. You could go with Barnes and go for the triple attack. You could go Kluivert. You could go Mbermo. You could go Jared Bowen. You could go Mitoma. You could go... Did I say Kluivert? I wouldn't captain Isaac Murphy either. I like Isaac. I'm not sure I'd captain Murphy. Alanga as another option. Yeah. Gibbs White. Yeah. Bruno as well. You could go Bruno. Yeah. All of those are reasonable picks. But the thing is with someone like Man United and Spurs, they haven't played this midweek and then they don't play again until Thursday. So if they were to rotate heavily in these games again, those players wouldn't have played like a match probably in 2 weeks when they play on Thursday. And that's not good for rhythm. That's not great for rhythm. I think we see a fairly 70% full strength lineup from both Spurs and Man United. Now, 70% Spurs and Man United still probably get beat comfortably this weekend by both of the teams they're playing, but it's not going to be 100% rotated, I don't think. Captain's not going to change. Yeah, I'm pretty locked in on Salah. Yeah. Andrew, trying to get my channel taken down for reading that comment. Chris Wood comment. Do I take Castagna out for a -4 for 8 Nori? If not on free hit, probably not. I don't think it's worth a hit. Castagna's unlikely to start, but probably not. Very similar team to yours, but going in Burma over Chris Wood. What's your case on going Wood? I don't. I just, part of me has a little gut feeling, but yeah, I think Raul Jimenez in for Chris Wood would probably be the safe play, but apologies. Close between Sessegnon and Trent. I agree. There's going to be someone that some people have got that absolutely hauls. Sessegnon won't make it to 60 even if he starts. I actually had a look back and Fulham have rarely made subs before 60 for those types of players. They made it. So before anyone says it happened to Sessegnon a few weeks ago, this sub was a mistake. He wasn't meant to be taken off. It wasn't Sessegnon coming off. It was Lukic. He's number 30 and they put up number 20. No, I think Lukic is 30 and Sessegnon's 20 or the other way around. They put the wrong number up on the board. And by the time that they had realised, Sessegnon was already off the pitch and someone else was already, I think it was Adama Traore, is already on the pitch. So they hadn't realised that they'd made the wrong sub. So they couldn't change it back. So that's the only reason that's there. I think I'm going to punt Sessegnon. Sessegnon's 30, Lukic is 20. So they put up 30, but it was meant to be 20. There's like a whole Athletic article about it. And Marco Silva commented on it after the game, but there was nothing they could do about it. What I think about Iwobi on a free hit? Yeah, lots of questions on Iwobi. Listen, I think he's fine. His open play threat is okay. He can go really missing in some games. Some games he's really good. So, I don't mind. I don't mind the Iwobi pick. I don't mind it. You're torn between Sessegnon and Robinson. Robinson's realistically never getting in my lineup. Would I go Kluivert over Palmer if I wasn't a Chelsea fan? I really don't think it's Chelsea bias. I really don't. But you don't want to use Palmer? That's absolutely fine. There's loads of good midfielders that you could pick. If you don't want to pick Palmer, don't pick Palmer. Don't have someone in your free hit that you don't want. If you really look at it and you're like, I don't want this, then don't pick it. Can we see a Wanyi starting after the FA Cup? Forest are in a tight race for the top 5. I don't think so. What would my safe free hit team look like? I probably would go Jimenez in for Chris Wood, and I probably would go Trippier and Leno in for Sessegnon and Pope. Would probably be the safest. Someone just asked if I'm locked, and I'm suddenly like, am I? Am I? Which two to start? Kluivert, Diaz, Barnes. You're not benching Barnes if you've got him, so Kluivert, I think. Why Cucurella and Pope over Trippier and Sanchez? Because I think Cucurella has more attacking threat than Trippier does. There's nothing. The early kickoff is Chelsea, which we basically never get news on anyway. And then the games are not until later. So I don't expect that we'll get... Just seeing that Darwin Núñez's tweet. So apparently Darwin Núñez tweeted in, must be Uruguayan. No wonder I don't play anymore because the last game I started in the Premier League went well and suddenly. Isn't this going about the fact that they can't play him unless they want to pay 5 million to... Yeah, if they want to pay 5 million. Gordon back to... Oh, Spanish. Apologies. Oh, Benfica. Apologies, it's not Uruguayan. But he's from Uruguay. Oh, Uruguayan is just Spanish. Oh, got it. Got it. Sorry. Gordon or Barnes? If I had to pick one, I'd go Barnes. Why Salah over Isak as captain? You don't get it. I always prefer captaining a midfielder as well. Sorry. Sorry. I always prefer captaining a midfielder just because you get the extra point for a clean sheet and the extra point for a goal as well. So the other thing about having double Liverpool mids is it does cover the Liverpool clean sheet if they were to keep one a little bit. Dear. Funny. Diaz overlooked for captaincy. I just can't captain Diaz over Salah. I didn't think it was that strange a thing to say, but apparently it is. The chat don't agree. Why not Raul? Right. So the options that I can change: Jimenez versus Chris Wood. Is Jimenez just the obvious option? But his returns have just not been good. Southampton's results 1-1. They shipped 3 to Spurs. Who scored in that? Brennan Johnson's twice. Tell. Palace. Strand Larsen scored twice against them. Strand Larsen can score twice against them. Surely Jimenez can. You woke up at 5:45 a.m. to hear Harry talking about someone tweeting in Uruguayan. I apologise. It's like my most viewed stream ever, and I've just dropped an absolute clanger. Why Murphy, not Barnes, and why not Trent? So I've gone with Murphy over Barnes just because I think there's a chance Gordon plays, and I haven't gone with Trent just because I'm not certain on the minutes for him, and I think Spurs probably score. Yeah, it's time for me to mispress the buttons again. What's my thoughts on Kirkes? I don't mind I don't think Kirkes has got enough attacking threat. If I was going for a Bournemouth defender, I'd go with Kepa, I think. I'm not certain Jota starts either. Is Wood just a sentimental pick? He hasn't done very much in a while. Harry, stop taking your anxiety out on the poor buttons. Sorry. Wood might get injured in the game tomorrow. He might, but then I've got to burn my first sub, so that's not the end of the world. Why not Strand Larsen? I just think Cunha's a better pick. Right, I need to do my team. We've got 12 minutes to go to the deadline. I think I'm going to punt Sessegnon. I think I'm going to punt Sessegnon. Is Raul Jimenez just too obvious to turn down against that Southampton team? If I offered you a striker against Southampton on a free hit, you take it. Go Raul. You're probably right. But I just have this feeling on Chris Wood. I haven't ever really considered Iwobi, if I'm honest. Trust your gut, Harry. I feel like at this point between the now and the deadline, you have to trust your gut a little bit. Go with your gut on free hit. You need trips for his set pieces. Yeah, maybe. Cucurella over Trent seems mental. Is Cucurella over... Is Cucurella over Trent mental? Clivert... Which two would I start? Mbermo, Murphy or Clivert? I'd probably bench Clivert if it was me personally. Triple Newcastle attack. I don't mind triple Newcastle attack. It's a pretty good differential. Thank you all very much for joining. Very quickly, if you haven't already, please subscribe and please like the stream if you haven't already. It's free and it's a great way to support the channel. I mean, Cucurella's not been... Chelsea's defence has not been great. Welbeck or Raul? I'd personally go with Jimenez. Any team lineups yet? No, nothing. No way Spurs. It's more that I don't think Spurs... I think Spurs score. Oh, it's at the point of a free hit now where I may as well toss a coin for it. Get a wheel out and spin it. In a little nod to Ross, who is unable to stream this morning. I just go and get the wheel out and spin it. Why Salah cap over Isak? I just think Liverpool are just going to cruise that game and win the league, if I'm honest. The wheel. Is there a chance Cunha gets 0 minutes? No. I would be very, very surprised if he didn't play at all. Would be very surprised. Raul over Cunha or too risky? I don't mind it. Why not Sanchez and Trippier over Pope and Cucurella? Because I think I like Cucurella's attacking threat. It's part of the reason for going with a Chelsea defender is because he offers at the other end of the pitch as well. You're chasing on free hit. Pope, Livramento, Aït-Nouri, Cucurella, Kluivert, Diaz, Palmer, Salah, Isak, Raul, John Larson. Want starters. The team looks good. The wheel. The wheel. So watch that program. The wheel. The wheel. Kluivert or Diaz? Probably would go... Well, I've gone Diaz, so... Trip set pieces over Cucurella. Maybe. The wheel. Your uncle hosts the wheel. Hang on. Guy in the chat called Callum McIntyre is saying that his uncle hosts the wheel and the host of the wheel is Michael McIntyre. Well, that is very cool. Welcome to the chat, Mr. McIntyre. People don't understand the Palmer pick. Listen, we are 5 minutes until the deadline. I think we just got to leave it. Any ideas on Bowen? I quite like Bowen as a pick if you need a midfielder. Your dog hosts the wheel. What's the Diaz hype? Just it's the title winning game. It's the second. It's the second most nailed Liverpool attacker outside Salah, we think. What's the wheel in Uruguayan? That is a cracking comment. That is a good one. 5 minutes until the deadline. Not even that. 4 minutes now. 3 minutes up there. Does Raul Jimenez take pens? He does. I think I'm going to regret no Jimenez. I think I'm going to regret it, but El Wheelo. Save your team. Everyone go and yeah, that's true. Let me at least refresh it. Does Bowen take pens? Probably yes. Can I make the case for Captain Isak? He's playing at home to an Ipswich team who struggle a lot defensively and are 17th in the Premier League for a reason. Do I think Trippier starts? Yes. Can I play your free hit if you have your assistant manager chip active? No, you can't. Only one chip active at a time. Best bench boost week moving forwards. Probably 36 or 37 if there are no doubles. If you are on free hit this week, please go and check that your free hit or other chip is active. Please do not be the person after the deadline that sends a message on the stream or on Twitter that says, I forgot to activate the free hit. I'm on a minus 24. Is there anything I can do? Please go and double check your free hit. And I can double check and I've got all of you to see it says free hit active. It says free hit active. Put Ben Mee in. If you forgot to press it, you can still activate it before the deadline. It will count for all the hits you've taken. That's fine. Sarr and Aït-Nouri double defense, or rather Sanchez and Aït-Nouri. I personally am spreading the risk a little bit. So there are also a lot of people on free hit this week, so the site will get really slow. So we are a minute and a half before the deadline. I would go and start checking your teams, locking stuff in, making any last minute changes. I'm not going to change my team. I'm fully going to regret not going Raul Jimenez, I think, but I think I need to do something on the free hit that's not exactly the same. So we're going to stop answering questions there. This timer is a minute ahead, so you do have about a minute. We're into the final minute of the deadline though, so go and check. It's about half a minute ahead. Please go and check your teams. Please go and lock it all in. Please go and make sure that everything is as where it should be. We're not going to... that will be it for questions for this stream. Please go and check your teams. Make sure everything is where it should be. Timer is smart. Thanks. So no one misses the deadline. Someone actually sent me a message on Twitter the other day saying that my early timer saved them because And the deadline hasn't quite passed, but it's giving me time to swap Chris Wood to him. Oh, no, it's not. And that is that. And that is that. I've also crazily realized that this might be my most viewed stream ever. I'm not certain. So those of you who have tuned in, thank you very much. For those of you who have followed for a while, again, thank you massively for your support. And I've seen some really amazing, lovely comments on my videos over the past week as well. So thank you all very much for all of those nice comments. Those of you who are new to the stream, welcome. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you'll have a lovely weekend. We're going to stick around for a minute and do Fantasy Challenge and just chat about stuff as well. But yeah, crazy morning. Thank you all very much. I hope you had a lovely, enjoyable stream. Good luck with all your free hits if you are heading off. And let me go and tweet my team. FPL Gameweek 34. I don't know how I feel about it. Don't know how I feel about it. Right, let me... So... let's have a look. What's happening on Fantasy Challenge today, everyone? What is it? Pick team. Nottingham Forest. Players from Nottingham Forest earn double points. Oh, well, I shouldn't have picked Chris Wood now if I'd have known this. I'm going to pick triple Brentford. We'll go Sells in goal. We're definitely going Boomo. We're definitely going Visa. I really want to pick Ben Mee, but I don't think he's going to play. But he's going in. You know what? There we go. I've been waiting all season for this week. I've waited months since they launched this game for an opportunity to captain the best centre-back, to captain myself. Who would ever want to turn down an opportunity to captain themselves in FPL? Who would ever want to turn down the opportunity? Right, I actually do need to go because I'm going to the Chelsea game. So I do need to run so I can get there. Kickoff is in just under an hour and a half. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank you all very much. Videos will be back Sunday evening as we start to look ahead to 35, 36, 37. We won't be doing anything until we get the FA Cup out of the way because we want to see what the potential doubles will look like. Next week, please don't make early transfers because we might get news of doubles in 36 or blanks in 37 before the game week 35 deadline. So you really shouldn't be making any transfers until much later on in the week, probably much closer to the deadline as well. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. Good luck on your free hits. Let's hope it goes well. Fingers crossed it's at least a green arrow. That's all I ask for. That's all I'm asking for. That's all I'm asking for. And Ben Mee, captain. Anyway, thank you all very much for the stream. Yeah, crazy one. Thank you very much. Have a good weekend, and I'll catch you all very soon.